All right. Hello and welcome to the Nightmare Fuel podcast. I'm Reese, and as always, being joined by Hagbard Celine.
Hello, everyone.
And this is the most professional show on the web where we really get down and discuss the issues.
Precisely, and it's completely necessary that we do so. These are valued topics we're covering here.
This week, we're being joined by neuroscience purveyor of thought and author Sam Harris, who's agreed to
Oh, what if that were true?
he just came and bombed the shit.
Yeah, just imagine you just showed up.
I don't think he'd take us very well.
No, probably not.
Yeah, no, just kidding. We do a rinky-dink show and we watch shit videos. Get used to it.
Basically. And today we have our
show is
leftovers
only as
even.
good as the worst person we cover on it.
Yeah, and today we're like cleaning out the closet for Christ's sake, so
We're cleaning the skeletons out of our closets.
for real. I mean, we just are. I mean, there's no other way to describe this. I've still got some of the Jordan videos, like embarrassing boob stories was left on there. That can't stay. That's already been done.
Gross.
I'm not seeing
That
Jordan
made the
again.
best. That made the best GIF though ever.
That was terrifying.
Oh, I need to start making more GIFs or GIFs or whatever.
However you pronounce it, if you're a super nerd.
Could not care less. Anyway, what do we have? Let's see what's going on.
Let us bring out the pain.
Zip in. When I was in a hangout recently with Michael Clam. You know that guy.
Oh yeah, I'm familiar.
He was saying he was like a big fan of our show, but he was like, I don't know how you guys do it. Like it gives me a headache just like watching you have to watch this.
Yeah, well, this is an act for trained professionals, okay? This is like gymnastics
That's what
or
I said.
trapeze.
I said it was like, like people who are drug addicts, they build up a tolerance for it.
Yeah, yeah.
Like we've come through a lot to get to being able to do this.
Yeah, listen, okay, unless you've grown up on like image boards or something, this is probably not the thing for you. I mean, really.
Oh god, let's just do something really stupid. Warning, Rapture will happen. I don't remember how I found this. But
right.
it's up top. But this you're gonna notice something about this gentleman.
Hi, my name is John.
Well, aside from his terrible audio quality, I hope we notice something. Fuck.
That is another thing that seems to be a theme that's carried over often. Bad
Yeah.
audio.
No shit. All right, let's drag him into the fucking sun. Into the light with you.
Expose him with sunlight.
All right.
Oh god.
Let's have him
Sure.
explain to us how and why the rapture will be occurring.
Hi, my name is Johnny Zinnis. I am a King James Bible believing Christian.
Wow. This is off to a strong start. What the hell is this?
And people are going to ask, Reese, where did you find this? I don't know.
That's the
They
problem
come to
with
me.
drinking when you find videos, man.
That's how I bear through finding them.
Oh, I
often.
understand. I'm just saying. It's hard to source when you're drunk when you find them, isn't it?
Yes, absolutely. But this guy, what I'm pointing out here is, and it's the thing we always point out, the beard.
Yep.
It's always with the beards.
Yep. Bearded religious people. It's just a thing.
It's just not a good combination.
The King James is the perfect word of God, perfectly preserved. I highly recommend
I
it.
love these people who cite the King James. Like, isn't that the most heavily edited and revised version?
Yeah, you would think that they would know that, but not so much.
It's called the King James. Well, I don't. And even if that's not the case, because I know they all believe it's perfect or whatever. Why is one translation better than the other? Are there really that many differences?
Because King James had many a scholar working on these books.
Like in one verse, like I've compared some of the differences in one verse. I'm not remembering the exact verse right now, but it was like, oh, he felt it in his heart, and in the King James, it was he felt it in his belly. Like, is that?
Well,
Is
and the
it
King
cheap?
James has notations on the side. He's the first. That's the first version of the Bible to have that. You know, the section on the side of the scripture, where it explains passages and meaning and shit. That's
that
why I think a
explains why
lot of them use them
gets
because it
latched
has,
onto it.
yeah, because it kind of gives away information about the Bible that otherwise these people would never be able to understand what the words on the page.
There's something.
I mean, we're
I can
looking at
see
we're
that.
clearly looking at a mountain man here. I mean, this is clearly a man who has skinned
Hagbard,
stuff.
come on. This is a scholar. How dare you?
Yeah, he's skinned live animals before. I'm just saying.
And I love God more than my family, more than this world. With all my heart, soul, strength, and mind, I have and always will have 100% faith in God, not one doubt ever.
So we're one step away from we love death more than the infidel loves life here. That's what we are here. We're one step from that, huh?
I want to play that clip of Willy Wonka when he's like, Mumbler!
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, the other
Wow,
aspect
dude.
is I think these videos always remind me of the Willy Wonka song Through the Tunnel. If you recall that scene. That's what these videos always remind me of. Is no one knows which way
as
we're
they're
going.
through the tunnel, they look on the sidewall and there's like bugs crawling off faces,
Yeah.
and then suddenly this man appears.
Yeah, I'm with JP in the chat. This is a snuff film, isn't it, Reese? Someone dies at the end of this. This is
You won't know till you get to the
this
end.
ends poorly, doesn't it?
I know what God and Messiah can do, achieve, own, to overcome anything. And I love Jesus. He's the Lord of my life. I have 100% faith in Jesus, not one doubt ever. And I love Jesus more than my family, more than this world, with all my heart, soul, strength, and mind.
Allahu Akbar.
They-
What the
they
hell
seem
are we
to
looking
transition to his family, like, hey.
Where did you? Okay, but all right, we're almost a minute into a 3-minute video that's ostensibly about the rapture, and we haven't got to any rapture talk.
That is interesting. That is another common theme.
He'd just like to
Crazy people
clarify
who don't
that-
get to the point.
He'd just like to clarify that he much prefers the holy world over this world. I think we've made that completely clear.
It takes a while to explain that in full detail, and really,
Apparently.
it's not enough. Our earthly words cannot capture the beauty of the holy world. I always forget.
Jesus.
Christ, literally.
And the rapture will happen soon. Be prepared.
Oh,
This country isn't going to last long after the rapture. Be
Well, he and the Hebrew Israelites appear to agree on at least one thing.
I like how. Oh wait, so America's not going to last long after the rapture. So does that imply that, like, okay, the rapture happens, and then America, like, maybe they like limp on for a few weeks, and then finally just like, okay, let's disband this.
Yeah, it'll be a
That's
couple years after Obama opens the camps. I mean, that'll be. You know he
The
thinks
first
that.
person going in the camps is the Messiah.
You know he thinks that, right? You know he thinks Obama's opening camps. You can just tell. One look at
yeah.
him, you're like, let me guess. FEMA trains, right? FEMA
You can
trains.
see it in his eyes.
Yeah, I can see the FEMA train horror story in his eyes, absolutely.
a series of disasters, natural disasters most likely. You got the New Madrid
What about
fault line
unnatural
ready to go.
disasters?
All right, this
What
guy's
about
so
that?
fucking mumbly, dude.
Yeah, Mumbler.
How did you understand this the first way through? Now I understand how people feel when they find some of the videos I go through where they're like, dude, how'd you even understand that? Like, I don't know. This is a gift on this one, man.
Yellowstone.
Because the alcohol talking.
Yeah. If you were equally drunk with him, I guess you guys were speaking on that level.
The alcohol was like the, intercommunicator between us.
Super volcano ready to go. The Cascade fault line and San Andreas fault line ready to go. And then most likely some point after that be some nukes from Russia.
He's like so drunk he's falling asleep. Look at his eyes. He's like,
so guys, there's gonna be a super volcano, and then San Andreas fault, and then maybe some nukes after.
Yeah, his eyes are closing.
He's falling asleep on camera.
He's falling the fuck asleep. He's so drunk, he's like passing out slowly on camera. He's fighting through the blackout to give us this information.
These are like the ramblings of like your molester uncle at 3 a.m, but somehow they ended up on the internet and then ended up on our show.
Beautiful internet.
To finish off the U.S. I urge you, if you're left behind,
I read that shitty book series.
Like Nick Cage and Kirk Cameron.
I read that shitty book series.
saved.
I remember having to watch the Kirk Cameron movie
Ugh.
as a kid, and it traumatized me. I was
Pure
just like,
fucking cringe,
I
dude.
guess I better believe.
Yeah, otherwise I get left behind.
I don't want to get left behind. Actually, that's a pretty good incentive to be a Christian, because then you might get left behind with Kirk Cameron. Ugh,
Yeah.
gross.
That sounds bad.
Quickly. Time is going to be short. Do not take the mark of the beast. The mark of the beast is an RFID computer chip embedded in your hand or forehead.
Okay, this guy's for sure 100% fucking this is Alex Jones inspired. This gentleman right here has just been
That's where he
watching
gets his
entirely
news.
too much InfoWars. I mean, it's
God.
okay to look at InfoWars. I look at InfoWars. I read InfoWars. The difference is I don't believe InfoWars, you see. I just read it because I feel like I should have all of the knowledge, even the misinformation. And this guy just goes, it's them RFID chips. You know, 90+% of all bank cards have RFID chips in them now. RFID chips are in almost all the cars. It's a really generic term. They're also used in spaceships. I mean, what? No one's getting chip implants, man.
It's such a strange talking point, because they try to meld in like future technology with this passage from the ancient book. It will be a mark on your hand or your forehead. It will be a chip.
Yeah, I love that it's hand or forehead and that it always ends up having to be hand because otherwise the chip makes no goddamn sense. Like, yeah, forehead
Wow.
chips. Yeah, anyone would get a forehead implant. Makes sense.
That explains them Hindus.
All right, let's give him another shot.
You take the mark of the beast, there's only one place you are going to end up.
Heaven?
And who wants that?
Good question. I don't want to go to heaven. It sounds
He
boring.
sounds like a child.
Oh, he for sure does.
Who wants that, Daddy?
Who wants it? Who would ever
wants to
want
go to
that?
the bad place?
Don't want to go to the dark room with you anymore.
Well, I think a lot of people have told him that.
No, for sure.
Oh my God, that's slanderous.
Yeah,
Jesus.
yeah, we've given him 2 of his 3 minutes and he's
Yeah.
made no points.
That's
You
that's-
were warned, friend. Goodbye.
Get out of here, friend.
Next.
Oh, God. Okay. Let's go to the other end. Let's do responding to MRA comments. This is
Okay.
one I got sent to me. And if people ever want to send us videos, it does make my job easier.
Hello
Help me
everybody,
out,
welcome
people.
back to my channel. Today I thought I would address some of the more common concerns raised by
Oh, good. This ought to be fun.
Oh yeah, I forget this girl's name, but I mean,
Rachel.
we all know who she is. Yeah, Rachel.
Hi, Rachel.
She received some nasty comments from those evil, dirty
People
men.
said some mean things to me on the internet. Luckily, it's impossible for feminists to do that. Oh, wait. You can go look at almost any of my videos on feminism and see that.
Oh my God, you cis het shitlord. Check your privilege, dog.
All
I don't know
right.
why they turned into Hebrew Israelites at the end, but
It makes
sure.
sense, though. They have the same level of delusional behavior, so. All right, Rachel. Let's see what you have to say.
I'm sure it's brilliant.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I thought I would address some of the more common concerns raised by MRA and MGTOW commenters on my channel in the past month or so. There are a lot of things I really want to respond to in detail, so I might do more of these in the future. If there's a concern I don't mention in this video and you want me to address it, please leave me a comment down below in the comments.
With those two groups.
Huh.
Like, it's such an easy straw man for them to
Yeah,
stoop to.
it really is. And the issue is I love that it's always MRAs, MGTOW, and PUAs. Only one of those is actually like a supposedly positive movement that has actually got people in it doing things. MGTOW and PUAs are not really something I'd like to associate myself with, if possible.
Yeah, no. And to be fair, like, well, I there are quite a few MRAs I have tremendous respect for, but I think there is enough people in the movement for me to be a little wary. Like, I don't know about this.
Oh yeah, there certainly are people that help assist in poisoning the well.
Pooping out the booze.
Never gonna forget poop the booze.
Comments, and I will read them, and maybe I will do another one of these soon. By the way, for those of you who don't know, MRA stands for Men's Rights Activists, and MGTOW stands for Men Going Their Own Way.
She doesn't know there's a pronunciation.
It's MGTOW, bitch.
MGTOW.
I'm just gonna. This sounds right and natural. MGTOW.
Yeah, basically.
Which is a term I had not heard before all of this started, and I do have to admit that it is very amusing to me. And to be clear, feminism is men and women being...
Why? They're
You just tickled her sides.
Why? They're separatist feminism for men. It's nothing new. It's the exact same philosophical theory as separatist feminism, only it's for men. That's
This
it.
whole
It's not
thing
fucking
stinks.
new.
It just stinks of someone like she pretty much just fessed up to it. Barely did any research on anything.
These are just my feelings about
like-
stuff.
I just heard of this and it just made me giggle. It was so funny.
Ridiculous.
But yet she talks about feminism. She talks about feminism, but yet she didn't know about the MGTOW or MRA movements. It's like, well, how deep are you into this conversation then?
Yeah, in all seriousness.
She just locks herself in an echo chamber probably with all her sycophants.
equal. Not a very difficult concept, but a lot of people seem to have a lot of difficulty with it for some reason. Okay, before I talk about the pay gap, which I think is what I'm going to mainly talk about in this video, why did so many...
Oh god, don't warn me about that. That would have been like an Xbox immediately. I immediately hit the little red Xbox. Just doop, goodbye. Which is the main point of this video. The main point of it is the wage gap, which we all know is a complete myth. Like, oh great.
It's awesome. She's a true social justice warrior. She gave us a trigger warning. She's looking out for your mental health, Hagbard. You should be thankful.
Fair enough.
When she gets to that part, we'll just stop.
We'll just skip.
Because apparently there's a lot of mental trauma on the show.
Many people have such a problem with me burping at the beginning of my feminism video. Like, I had to burp while I was filming. I burped, and then I edited it so that it was at the beginning of the video. Like, why is that such a problem? Also, why does everyone...
Well, because that means you're calling it... I don't have a serious
so
problem with
no
it,
one
but I
cares.
mean, if you edit it, so like the first thing people see from you is you burping, how are they going to take you seriously?
You did that for attention. You clearly did that because you thought it was something odd.
It was cute
So
and funny.
sometimes cute and quirky are going to be met with, what the fuck? Just every once in a while, that's going to happen.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like she's having a conversation and she like burps halfway through. If she specifically edited it and put the burp at the beginning, it's like, look at this, guys.
Oh.
Isn't this clever?
I assume that all the feminists on YouTube were gender studies majors in college. I got this comment so many times. People were like, yeah, I bet you don't make as much because you got a useless degree in gender studies. Like, actually, I did not. I got a dual degree in psychology and computer science, and I double minored in mathematics and theater, and I graduated magna cum laude from the University of Miami, so...
Oh, well, that explains all that. You could have just started with, I went to the University of Miami. Oh. Alright, yeah, that adds up. One question. Why are you on YouTube making videos then?
That's a good
I
question.
mean, all that-
She's not. I don't think she's making a living off this. She's not super popular.
No, I'm sure she's not. But then what are you trying to gain from this? And then why'd you dip your toe into this? And if you needed feminism, how did you already get all those degrees?
That was in spite of the patriarchy. Hagbard.
I mean,
you don't understand.
You know what I'm saying? Like, how did you major in all these areas if all these areas are sexist?
Move on. Next.
Okay, the main issue I want to discuss today is the pay gap. Let me clarify for you what...
I'm out.
Whoa.
I can't.
Whoa.
No, clapping is officially
no.
my trigger. I cannot do people that clap. I want them all dead. If you clap to
it's funny.
emphasize your point, die.
It's funny because so many of these people are offended by clapping. Like, oh, we need to snap. It might trigger people if we clap.
no clapping to emphasize your point. I'll put you in the camps.
Hagbard, listen up. Listen. Yeah.
Why?
The pay gap is
she
because
kept
a lot of
going.
you seem to think that it's just when
She has
a
the clap,
woman
dude.
makes less than a man, and it's just not that simple. It's more than just the difference between the median earnings of men and women. It's about men and women with similar experiences and similar education levels being paid differently. Some parts of the pay gap can be explained.
Define
You notice how
similar.
you notice how they always have to say similar and not the same, right?
Yeah.
I find that very entertaining that they can
It's
never
so
just be
vague. What
honest.
does that mean?
It's
Similar?
similar. They have similar experience, and so you mean both of them have 4-year degrees, right? Or both of them have master's degrees? But some master's degrees are built better than others, dear. That's just a fact.
Yeah. I'm a nanny for some billionaires' kids. Well, I'm a nanny who works for my neighbors.
Exactly.
We're similar.
We're similar. We have similar
We're getting paid
experience.
wildly different.
Jesus, it's ridiculous.
For example, women tend to go into teaching more often than men, and teachers make less than other college graduates, aka people with similar experiences and education.
That's because once upon a time, you spread rumors that men couldn't be around young girls without touching them. And now that it's predominantly women, guess who's doing the touching, bitch? It's the female teachers.
Yeah, there's that.
That's why there's no men in teaching, because you wouldn't let them in teaching for a long time. You spread rumors about them being pedophiles. For fuck's
that's why
sake.
that does explain the reluctance for a lot of men to get involved.
A
in
lot
that
of men
field.
flat won't. The only men I ever met that were teachers were either wildly obese and ugly, to the point where there's no way that they were grabbing girls, or they were gay men. I had no straight male teacher that was just a normal straight male. Just a normal dude. I had wildly obese weirdos and gay men.
or both.
No, luckily, the gay man was your typical gay man. I mean, you know, the kind of guy that when women find out he's gay, they're like, damn it. He was one of those. So it was really kind of funny. All the girls would crush on him, and then they'd find out he was gay and be like, no.
I can change him.
Yeah, I can fix him.
Cringy.
But a lot of parts of the pay gap cannot be explained. There's a 12% unexplained difference in earnings among full-time workers 10 years after graduation. And when
Unexplained. 10 years after graduation, after you guys start above that.
I like how I want to know where she's getting these numbers.
I've
It's an
never heard
exact
that one.
12%
That one was very specific, and obviously we do this on the fly, so I have no idea where she's getting those numbers. I don't buy them. The adjusted ones I've heard are, you know, is maybe as high as 5% and maybe as low as less than 2%.
Yeah, I mean, you could probably. Well, it's so fucked because you could probably find differences, but how do you measure this supposed, like, oh, they have the same amount of experience?
Yeah.
How
Well, and
could
the other
you-
aspect is another statistic that these people like to ignore is that women actually change jobs more frequently than men.
Yeah, that's a good point too. I just thought of that.
So, I mean, you can say you've worked in a similar field for 25 years, but you didn't do the job. And usually if you stay with one company, you get increasing pay as that goes on. So that has something to do with it too.
Yeah,
These people don't
that might
realize
be
that there are
12%.
actual differences in the behavior of demographics, regardless of if it makes you uncomfortable.
Hey, Hagbard, not all.
Hashtag
Come
not
on,
all.
bro. Not all.
Not all girls want to be mothers. Like, okay, I get that. Why are we needing to have this discussion?
men and women become parents, the pay gap actually widens. If women leave the workforce and come back, they often experience some sort of motherhood penalty or mommy tax, whereas men, once they have children, tend to get paid more. Ugh, what the fuck? Now,
Because the mother's staying at home. What the fuck is right? You just said after women have the kid and stay at home, usually for a year or two, and the man gets paid more by his boss because his sympathetic boss knows he has to cover all the bills now. What are you even bitching about? Holy
Yeah, like
fuck.
that's something that's a bias that's built in for employers to help out families.
Holy fuck, you narcissistic cunt. So you should just be allowed to take 2 years off, become rusty at your job, not keep, especially in technical fields. Like, what are you, nursing? You have to get CIUs in nursing or any of the other major applicable fields. You have to get yearly recertifications because shit changes. But no, you just go 2 years without any of these CIUs and then just come right back into the workforce. You've been sitting around. You've probably lost a little muscle mass. You've lost your flow. You don't remember any of the job. But no, just come back at equal pay. That's fine. Because women are equal, right?
It's an absurd idea. Like you're still getting the money for the family and to provide for the new child, but oh no, if the women aren't making the same amount of money as the man or making more than the man, then it's a problem. But it's not a problem the other way around.
No, exactly.
Wow.
We're not addressing the pay issue that exists with young women and young men right out of college, that young women make more than young men straight out of college.
And,
that's not
more women are being enrolled and graduating.
No. None of these are issues, and they can never be issues.
Ugh.
Obviously, when you account for race, the pay gap widens even more. And more education can be a way of combating this, but that...
No, my favorite is that they use Latinas. This is the only one they bring Latinos into, by the way. If you notice, they almost always they'll bring up African Americans. They never bring up Hispanics, ever. Because a lot of the statistics don't flow well with that population because it's such a diverse population. My old boss was Cuban. She made hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And she was she floated over here at 6 years old. And she was my boss. So
it was all monopoly money, dude.
But
patriarchy wouldn't allow any real money through.
But really, I think it's funny that they always bring Hispanic women into this because Hispanic women, and this is not a stereotype, it's a goddamn fact, a lot of them are employed as maids. And maids don't make a lot of money. Full stop. They know that they can fucking slide that in there and get further sympathy in spite of the fact that it's utter fucking horseshit. Half of the people on that statistic are illegal immigrants or first generation migrants. Congratulations. Yes, migrants make less money. Shocking. If I move to Europe, do you think I'm going to make as much money as a naturally born European?
You're going to be a CEO at some Swiss bank.
Like, seriously, how do you think this works? No, as a matter of fact, most of the countries in Europe wouldn't take me. They're too smart. They know that they don't need more labor.
Yeah, they also kind of a related point. They never bring up Asians.
Oh no, because Asians are okay. They're fine. They're being all right.
Asians completely break this scale.
Yeah.
Because Asian women, on average, earn more than white women.
Yeah, but Asians aren't a ethnic minority when it's inconvenient.
Yeah, they might as well be white. They're white just with weird eyes, you know? I hope that gets quote mined.
For real. Asians are just white with weird eyes.
They're like the new Jews. They're all white. Come on, let's be real.
Issue for a lot of people of color, especially those born into the cycle of poverty, because education is so expensive right now. And
so you're concerned about the kids in Appalachia, right? All those white kids that are in multi-generational poverty and whose the coal mines and steel mills and that whole alleyway that shut down destroyed their future. No, you don't care about those kids. You don't give a fuck about those kids.
Yeah, that's amazing to me. I know so many just white trash white kids.
There are kids that were born into systems of poverty that are not children of color or whatever.
This is another point that I find really interesting because this is something I could almost agree with her on. Like, yes, like education, like higher level education in this country, ridiculously expensive. Have you seen how expensive those fucking books are? Ugh.
Yeah, $500, $600, $700 books, sure.
But what she does is she makes this a racial issue for no reason. It's just like the criminal justice issue. If you want to come talk to me about criminal justice reform, sure. If you come up to me and say, why they killing black babies, I'm going to kick you the fuck out of the conversation. I want nothing to do with that because they're not. That's not the point. Are there some... It is racist.
Yeah.
I want people to understand that. This is racism.
This is literally ignoring an entire population that could actually use the help too. There's no reason
because they're
why.
Not the right race.
All right,
Ugh.
That's enough of you, bitch.
Yeah, she sucks. She
Ejected.
sucks big time. Oh, God. Fuck it, we're going to do Paul Joseph Watson.
All right.
I didn't want to.
Leftists are angry over HB.
Oi. Are they now?
You know, I understand, guys. Maybe I've been too mean lately. I'm going after everyone's idols. But fuck this guy. I've never fucking liked this guy.
Yeah,
What an annoying twat.
Yeah, the worst part about Paul Joseph Watson is actually his voice.
Ugh. Yeah, and he's going to enlighten us. Let's just let him go.
2, a North Carolina bill that would, God forbid, require people to use public bathrooms that correspond with the gender they were born.
Yeah, you're gonna open wide. You're gonna take your punishment. That's right, get ready.
The bill doesn't force any
That was just weird.
private businesses to use the same rules. They can allow transgender people to use whichever bathroom they choose. Roughly.
Okay, listen, this is for real something that we have dealt with on so many different issues. It's just one more.
Yeah.
It's just look, private industry always has more privileges than public ones and always will. This is always going to behave that way.
Yeah, I mean, like that's I don't even know why that's being brought up. That's a completely different debate. Private businesses can pretty much have the right to do what they want. Now, obviously, I don't want them violating any, human rights or whatever, and I would prefer for them not to be discriminating against anyone. But really, it becomes a bit of a sticky mess.
Yeah, well, and like we said when Blair was on, it's a joke of a law. It's one of those that has no applicability. You cannot do it. That you cannot actually make it so that you can stop. Like I said, you'd spend more time stopping mannish-looking women and effeminate-looking gay men.
Quite a few.
And what are you gonna do? Grope to prove? Or I mean, how are you proving? Are you gonna have to have your birth certificate? Everyone has to carry it now. What's your plan? Because it's an inapplicable law.
I'm amazed. Like, I wouldn't be talking about this if this wasn't the big conversation going on right now. These people have all rallied around this. Not just the Bible thumpers, but this guy and his huge audience.
Well, he is a Bible thumper. He is a Bible thumper first and foremost.
Oh yeah.
And he also does indeed believe in the Illuminati lizard people. So
that's another bad point.
Let's be clear about that.
I mean, they've chosen to make this the big cultural conversation.
Yeah, why is this the hill you want?
Segregated bathrooms in the first place.
Yeah, why is this the hill you want to die on, dude? I mean, really.
It's amazing to me that they're throwing themselves over this like it fucking matters.
0.3% of the US population is transgender. So passing this bill may result in a tiny fraction of the population being somewhat embarrassed for a few minutes at having to use a bathroom that corresponds with their biological gender.
Oh my
Boo
God,
hoo.
dude.
Now think about
So
okay, no.
let
Let me draw this out to the logical conclusion you guys clearly haven't thought of. Okay. All right. This person was born a man. They are now dressed as a flouncy woman. You say he has to go use the men's room. Which is worse, really? Him going into the woman's room and using the toilet, or a flouncily dressed man walking into the men's room and using the toilet? Which causes more heads to turn? Which causes more actual social drama? I guarantee it's not the man in the dress walking into the ladies' room.
Yeah, no, and he's gonna get into that. But I love it. He's like, oh, this is, it's just 0.3% of the population. So who really gives a shit? It's like, no, that's more reason to actually stand up for this group because they are such a small minority. What an insensitive thing to say, really. Oh, they're a minority. Who gives a fuck?
Yeah, and I mean, they are. The concept of intentionally tailoring things is one issue because it's a cost to benefit ratio issue. I think we need to deal with it on social levels. We need to be able to just go, yeah, who cares? Men's and women's bathrooms, as long as any
legitimate conversation.
Any untoward behavior in a bathroom has always been illegal. Nothing is ever going to change about that. Again, the idea that this is going to promote or stop any crime is a joke. You know what I'm saying? It's just overall the whole issue is so goddamn laughable because it doesn't make any sense.
It's complete fear-mongering. It's amazing that it's working now. Like, they've tried this. How many times and how many groups have we seen the exact same tactics done with? But yet they still buy into it every single time. They just have a new boogeyman now. They just have the next marginalized group that a lot of people don't give a shit about. A lot of people haven't heard about. So they're going to be able to get away with this for a couple of years. I mean, this is going to be looked back on the same way that people are going to look back on the gay rights thing and the civil rights movement. People are not going to be impressed in the future by this.
No.
You're on the wrong side of history,
Transgender
Paul.
men who
Fucking
actually
twat.
make the effort to look like women won't even get noticed if they use the women's bathroom anyway. The only people that this bill will negatively affect is creepy perverts who throw on a dress so they can go and masturbate in the girls' locker room. But then again, progressives are trying to redefine pedophilia as an alternative sexual preference.
Oh, God.
Yeah, that was
let's
a big
conflate all of
mistake.
this.
Yeah, but that was a big mistake on Salon's part. They should have never done that.
Yeah, but I love that. I love that the entire trans community gets thrown in there with the social justice community. I've never seen that happen with another group.
Oh yeah, it happens with gay people. It happens with black people. It's all
Not to this degree, though. This
is a different issue, but this is also new. So when it first happened, they were essentially parallel. If you were gay, it was just assumed that you were a liberal and that you supported the gay rights movement, and that was part of the social justice movement. And I mean, it was just assumed at some point. It's just not anymore because people are starting to break these stereotypes.
His argument seems to be like, oh, if you don't actually put any effort into, like, what does that mean? Like, does he understand that the transitioning is really fucking expensive?
Yeah, it's like I said, it's pretty much active fear mongering, which is bothersome.
Oh no! Another point that I wanted to point out. And I want people to notice the language. It always, every single time, is men or people who appear to be male,
of course,
going into the bathroom.
No, of course, it's always a fear of men. That's always the root of it, which is always irritating.
Yeah, like if people are going to point out like anti-male bigotry in other places, like really look at this. This movement is anti-male. Look at Jermaine Greer. We've watched some videos from her. She talks about the people who were born biologically male who want to be female. That's the people that she hates. It's an anti-male movement.
Yeah, very clearly.
It's no surprise they're so angry. And guess what? One of the leaders of the opposition to this bill is a convicted sex offender. Imagine.
Let's edit that so it's not clearly where it's from. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh, Breitbart.
In my shop.
They're so
Look,
credible.
You can identify
almost
as
credible
born
as InfoWars.
Yeah.
only the purple
Barney.
dinosaur for all I care. But I'm going to say it. Yes, I know it's a hate crime. There are only two genders. Rachel Dolezal can identify.
You know what's sad is every once in a while a Paul Joseph Watson video is okay. It's fairly well
Sure.
done. This is just poorly made. I mean, all the points are poorly made. Nothing's been hammered out. I mean, it's just a poorly made video.
And that's such a shit point too. Like, we've talked about this when we had Blair on the show. We talked about this. We all agree that there's only fucking two genders.
Yes,
The
we're not
argument that's being
Tumblr.
made- The argument that's being made is that these people, they're identifying as their actual gender. We're not arguing for intersex. We're not arguing for non-binary. We all acknowledge that shit doesn't exist. It's ridiculous. Like, I don't understand where this straw man came from. Oh yeah, and he brings up that woman too. Ugh.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I can't. It's like he's just trying to jam all the points in there at once. It's like, what the fuck?
That's kind of what I discussed in my Black Page and Speaks video, because he threw in the guy who was saying he was a 6-year-old, the girl who thought she was a cat.
All that was clickbait bullshit, and you're acting like it's a big deal.
Because you can't. They have to go to that lengths when it comes to trans people. Oh, look at this ridiculous thing. Trans people are just as ridiculous.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a horrible argument. I can't believe, and I am disappointed that people who are that popular make that, and other people latch onto it and they hear that and they're like, yes, I agree. We'll do something else. Let's do your favorite. Heal yourself from anything. This lady.
Oh, this ought to
God.
be good.
Your favorite
Where about is it at?
on the left side.
Oh no.
Mickey Spees.
This ought to be good.
Oh God. How should we explain her? Spiritual caregiver.
Yeah, she's a spiritual caregiver. She explains herself. It's perfect.
I
really.
guess there we go.
I want you to heal yourself.
Oh.
You can heal yourself.
Oh, we usually introduce things like this. I have no idea where this is coming from.
It starts right off the bat. You can heal yourself.
Yeah, seriously. I really don't know where that came from.
It came from deep within her. It came from her karma or something.
Did she heal herself after she and her daughter got arrested? Is that what this is?
Oh,
It ain't slander if it's true.
You can heal yourself. Baby, you can heal yourself. You can heal yourself.
Okay.
Oh, God,
All
what a
right.
demented
We've
cat
entered
lady.
madness. This is a cavity of madness. What did you send me? We're almost at 30 seconds. I mean, fuck.
You know who she reminds me of. Did you see Halle Berry's Catwoman? She reminds me of the cat lady in that movie.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah, I can totally see that.
She needs to give advice about hieroglyphics and Bast and all that shit.
Let's be serious. She is a cat lady. She must be.
Yes.
I mean, there's no way anything else is going on here. She's a cat
Cats have replaced all the men in her life.
lady. Cats have replaced everything in her life.
You can heal yourself.
Again? One more time. No?
Pharmaceutical companies.
Damn it.
Doctors. Therapists. All of these people in this medical system.
All these people that you should be seeing.
Oh, that's a good screenshot too. Just like it's almost like a cry for help.
So is she the
Someone-
is she the white
someone-
Jesse Jackson? Is that what we're witnessing? Is this a descent into madness piece that parallels the white Jesse Jackson?
A little bit. I'm feeling that. But she needs to make a speech like, I'm not saying kill white people. I'm just saying be prepared.
I'm just saying be prepared, dog.
I'm not saying kill all men, but look.
I'm just saying
Be
brace.
prepared.
I'm just saying brace, that's all. Just speaking my truth to power, that's all.
It's not inciting violence. Come on, guys. I'm protecting the innocent.
Want you to believe that you have some sort of a disease, some sort of a problem.
Oh, I see where this is going. You got a diagnosis that you don't like.
Yep. And instead,
Yeah,
she doesn't
real
wanna
quick, Emperor
face it, so
Dave
it's a
just
big
said.
conspiracy.
Emperor Dave just said the house is made of cats. Is that what the walls are purring? Is that the noise we're hearing constantly in the background here? Just.
Something that you need to take a pill to fix. They need you to believe that.
Oh, and Rob just said her and Thunderfoot fucking. That'd just be pale elbowy sex. Jesus.
With big old necks.
For real.
Because your money, your insurance, pays their company and increases their profits. So the medical industry.
Oh, so I see. So basically, they just hand out fucking bullshit
Well-
diagnoses just to make money.
Alternatively, there's no way that she sells things for money that are ostensibly holistically
Yeah, what did
healing.
she sell again? She sells like some natural health.
Yeah,
stuff.
she sells natural health stuff.
Yeah, but that's not a scam at all.
Pharmaceutical industry, the food industry, all of these corporations have no vested interest.
The GMOs, the HMOs, the gluten manufacturers,
Oh,
big
God.
business, Wall Street.
Oh, when they bring up the GMOs, it's always just like, oh my God, stop, please, just please.
Oh.
She might as well be an anti-vaxxer at this point too.
I'm sure she is, dude. I would actually right now lay odds on if we could get her
Lay
the
odds?
answer.
Yeah, you can.
I would
yeah,
for real
she
put
is.
10, 15 bucks on that, no problem, without a shadow.
And her preferred method of conspiracy is obviously the patriarchy.
Yeah.
In you becoming mentally strong. All of this
Just like you. When I see you, I think mental
Yes,
strength.
I always think mental strength when I see Mickey Spies.
I think of her brain just like doing reps.
Of course, in her defense, when I did make my video about her, her only response was to plug her products on my channel. In her
That's awesome.
defense, her only response was, "Hey, if any of you guys are interested in giving me some money, feel free." That
Dude,
was.
I didn't even know that. That's fucking awesome.
So I mean, if we're gonna speak seriously, she's taken it. The only other person who's done almost as well when I made a video was a young black woman, who just said thanks for the love when I made a video about her, and I was like, okay. I mean, what are you gonna say?
Thanks for
There
the
you go.
love.
There you go. I mean, that's being strong. Fuck this.
I mean, yeah, you were getting the views and more people. I think more people saw her through your video than her own.
Yeah,
probably.
yeah, they did. This was quite a while ago though, but it was still more than she had.
programmed you into thinking that you are helpless. You are not helpless.
Her
She
whole
always says,
face looks just on the edge of screaming. She always looks just on the edge of having a full-blown freak out.
she talks in such a way that is completely redundant. So she'll be like, "You may think you are helpless. You are not helpless."
These are like affirmative statements people are supposed to make to themselves in a mirror somewhere.
And she says it. I think she's trying to be dramatic. She she spaces out the words like, "This is gonna be some big bombshell I'm dropping on you. Hey, you listening to this? You are not helpless. Do something about this.
You could solve your own life.
You don't need the help of doctors or people who know what they're doing. Just solve it yourself."
So depressed you want to kill yourself? No problem. Just ignore it. Move forward.
Give me some money. Maybe I can help you with my natural health shit.
What's the title of this? Heal Yourself, Astrology Helps. Just a completely generic sounding title. No
I like how
information.
astrology's gonna come into this.
No information whatsoever. Fuck.
Old science teaches you that your genes are what is responsible for your health. And now we know that is simply not true.
Oh,
Fuck.
that's
What?
science. How dare they?
Okay.
What is responsible for your health, mental, physical, is the environment that you keep your cells in. Our cells come into
what?
Well, yeah, but a lot of that is genetic. First and foremost, the actual pliability of your cell walls is genetic, and also, yeah, that all can be modified scientifically. None of that is spiritual.
Yeah, we've actually, I don't know. It's not like permanent cures, but we found temporary cures for a lot of this, and we're working on that. But no, flush all that down the toilet because astrology is on the way. If the stars align, then Cthulhu will heal all your ills,
Cthulhu will rise from the southern sea.
and then we'll all be mad. And once everyone's mad, no one will be.
with our environment. So if you have sad thoughts the time.
She has the face and eyes of someone that has sad thoughts all the time. She looks desperately like this is like her reaching for fucking. I don't hate myself.
Yeah, I feel like she's the last person to be giving advice on this, especially the video you reviewed of hers, where I don't know, it just revealed so much about her psyche and what was going on.
Oh yeah, she's
Like,
damaged, dude.
help yourself.
She's
and
for
actually,
sure
no,
damaged.
don't help yourself. Actually, get someone to help you and don't even think about helping other people. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, I'm gonna skip forward and see if we can find anything.
Sure. It's
Everybody get
she
off
rambles
medication.
forever.
I'm saying it is possible to heal yourself.
Oh my
I
god!
hope you heal, girl.
Look at that face.
I hope you heal, girl.
That's just like an endearing face, just like oh, amazing. She's saying the exact same thing she was saying. In the
I know.
first 30
Isn't that
seconds.
great? Isn't that great that I skipped to a random portion and it just so happens that she's saying the exact same thing?
This video is a broken record.
Her brain is a broken
Heal
record, man.
yourself.
Seriously, her brain is a broken record.
Mentally strong and healthy. Your creativity is flowing. Your ability to have
Oh, when she says the word flowing, I get my tummy hurt.
Flow.
Get those juices flowing. You're like, oh, why use that word? That was worse than moist.
Moist juices. Get those. You need to get those juices flowing. This is how you get those juices flowing.
Ugh.
Flowing
the confidence that you've been lacking just grows and expands.
The sexual language with her is amazing.
This feeling inside you grew into a monster.
No, seriously, the sexual language with her is amazing. I'm not sure she knows she's doing it, but this is some seriously sexualized language. I mean, she's talking about creative juices
seeped
flowing
through into
and-
everything she does. Yeah, she claimed to have been celibate, but I don't know if I buy it.
Yeah,
or maybe she's so depraved that now it's all she can think about.
Yeah, she's for sure
deprived,
celibate. She's
rather.
like like one of those guys that is practicing tantric Buddhism, like the Sting. If you're familiar with his thing, where everything in tantric Buddhism is sexual. Watering plants is a sexual act. Everything becomes a sexual act. That's this chick.
I wonder if when the tantric messiah comments at us, if that's sexual to him.
Oh, for sure. He's definitely sexually twining with us.
That's amazing. I mean, he calls us dirty commies and homosexuals, so...
Oh, God, that's all in his head.
You can be, morph into anything that you want. Whatever you think you are.
So what you're telling me is in bed I could get you to bark.
Call you master.
I say I could get you to bark, let's be honest.
Rob says, I'm telling you, she's a
I
freak
know.
in bed, chains and shit.
Alright. Mickey, do you have a point?
Okay. This is why.
Here we go.
And subdued. Well, that's not in a Leo's nature. A Leo's nature is to lead and be out
We
front.
are talking about
to
the
speak
signs.
and to perform. You don't hold back from. You know, for a long time I thought, God, I'm so loud and outspoken and it's probably
I drove
isn't
everyone
good.
off, but it can't be them. I mean, it can't be me. It must be all of them.
Oh, that's it for that.
Wow. That said more than I wanted to know.
Alright, you're out of the closet. Goodbye.
The closet is gradually being emptied. Oh God. Let's do Joe Cienkowski. This is it's on the second row. But I don't think you know who this person is, Hagbard.
I do not.
Too late.
This is a really long video, by the way.
Oh my fuck. Is this the one that took like 20 minutes to download, dude? Where exactly am I going in this?
We're just gonna start out and we're gonna jump around. We're gonna see what's going on. But I obviously did not watch all of this. But a long time ago on the show, I responded to a video. It was actually the same two guys. So this is some science educator guy debating Joe Cienkowski, who is a creationist and just epically stupid. And he also looks like a Centauran, which was a joke we made a lot. But we're gonna play a little bit of Joe. Oh God.
Hi,
Oh,
Joe.
God. Oh fuck, Joe. Joe sucks.
Too late. Okay,
You guys got interesting
so we
hair.
are now live. Welcome, everyone. This is the second debate.
So a mad scientist, communist, or ex-convict in his jumper with a weird hiding in the woods. It looks like he's got like, look at his stove. Where the fuck are we? Hobbit Town?
Hobbiton. Oh God.
Between Joe Cienkowski and Scientia Perceptum. So we do have, there we go, we do have some people who are actually on Twitter who are getting this link and currently starting to sign on. As of this time, we do have 0 viewers, but the link did just go live. I have sent out.
Well, that's
Your
one
own
way to
viewers.
start things.
By water and rock layers all
And I hope that helps.
Okay, get to the point. Let him talk.
And same thing, Duncan Weston. Okay, so Joe, would you like to go ahead with your introduction
All right,
since I
there we
believe I
go.
started last time?
Perfect.
Sure. Okay.
I will actually
Joe
mute
is
my mic
such
during
a
this so that there's
slubby
no
mess.
background noise.
Okay.
To be fair, this whole exchange is a mess.
I would like to thank everybody for joining us. I think it's a very important topic that we're going to be discussing. If the flood is true, then everybody should pay attention and realize why the flood happened and the ramifications.
Oh,
Well, listen,
Interesting.
there were a lot less crazy people who were going against the word of God, and he already ruined it then. He was pissed off over, like, a couple cities and shit. I mean, if this were real, if this were a real issue, it would have happened again by now. Let's be honest.
Hagbard, come on. He made a promise.
Oh, yeah, he did.
It counts for everything. Oh God, look at Joe. What an awkward ape of a man.
Now, there
Yeah,
is a
face.
deluge of evidence proving the flood.
Oh, good word usage there. A deluge to imply water. Congratulations. You're fucking
clever.
you're fucking English
He's
major
got evidence
over here.
too. I can't wait.
The scientific evidence is well documented, which I'll try to present a lot of it. But you have to look at the whole picture. Sometimes when you take an individual part and look at it, it may not look, like it fits. But when you take the whole picture,
It may not look exactly compelling at all. It might not look like actual evidence.
Yeah, that's a scary fucking sentence.
Look,
For
guys,
real.
just buy into it. Come on.
All right, let's just listen and believe for a second. I can't even like
Hagbard.
answer him.
Your eternal soul depends on this.
I honestly can't even answer him. He's just so out there.
see
Listen up.
that it presents a clear picture. Now, there's a science to detective work. To detect means to discover the existence of. Now, we can clearly determine that there was a flood conclusively.
I'm going to assume this guy was a detective.
I honestly don't know. I can't imagine this guy working any job, really.
Rob, if you're really interested, just type in Mickey Spies. You'll find her.
Yeah. Rob's gonna go hit on Mickey Speeds.
Yeah, if you're actually interested, it's nothing to find.
That's awesome.
With an investigation,
I've
just
hit on some of the people you attacked. That was funny.
Oh, wow.
like any crime scene. If the Bible's flood version is true, what would we expect to find? If there was a worldwide flood, there would be worldwide evidence. Okay, now when this flood happened,
Wouldn't there?
Huh?
There would be, wouldn't there?
Yeah, you would think there would be some compelling
Joe.
evidence.
That's a great way to set this up.
And we have
for
almost
a 2-second
3
debate.
hours.
I cannot believe, to give a criticism to this Doc Brown looking guy, this science guy. Why is he entertaining this? Like, really? What,
I don't.
What is the point?
He wants to make a name for himself in the old style where you debate people.
I mean, at least it's being made public. That's the only point I can see. And thank you for the content. But at the same time, like almost 3 hours of this fucking loser?
Yeah,
Really?
I know, for real. Let's see.
If I had to go through 3 hours of talking to Joe, then people should really put me on the suicide watch list.
Yeah.
That's how you end up there.
Let's see if he gets to it.
Bible's one is in context. Secondly, we see worldwide fault lines.
Okay.
Enormous gorges and canyons were cut into the newly formed sedimentary rock, which now hardened. Now these are fault lines that we see, these fountains of the deep that broke open. They were subterranean water chambers or underground reservoirs.
I don't think we need to go a whole lot further than that, folks. I honestly don't. Wow. He actually is trying to argue for the concept that there is excess water under the earth that could be expelled out to an amount that would bury the planet. There's not a debate there.
To be fair, that's not the worst explanation I've heard. The absolute worst was when Kent Hovind said there was a like shield of ice above the earth.
Yeah, why do you think the sky's blue? Yeah.
Oh, can you just imagine that? Like I think that's what they did in the Noah movie too. When it started flooding, they had like water shooting up from the earth.
Yeah, it's supposed to come from vents under the earth. That's why. I mean, it makes sense. But yeah, wow. All right, let's hear his 3 points.
The thing I love the most about Joe is as he's talking, look at him. He's just kind of like looking off screen.
Are you familiar with this gentleman, or?
Yeah, I've done one of his videos.
Okay.
Now they've discovered geysers on Saturn's moon and water erupting into space from underground reservoirs through cracks in the moon's crust. So
they've seen gas expulsions, but not underground water. And we don't know what's happening. I only have one
word for that, Hagbard, and that is moist.
We don't know what's happening on Europa. I mean, we don't. I mean, to presume we know exactly what's happening on Europa is a bit much.
We don't even know everything that's happening here.
If this happened to the moon, there's no reason that we wouldn't think that it wouldn't be able to happen here.
It happened somewhere, therefore it could happen here. Oh, look at that face.
Holy
Someone
shit.
screen capped that.
Holy shit.
And continents formed when this happened. Mountains, as we see them today, formed where these tectonic plates collided and overlapped with each other.
Okay.
Fault lines appeared, separating and forming these tectonic plates.
He's attributing the tectonic plates to the moon, or to the flood. I mean, is really?
Well, you see, the moon creates the tides. Tides go in, tides go out. Can't explain that. And the tides move the plates, Hagbard. You don't understand.
But no, how?
And the lithosphere has created some of the most dramatic features that we see in the world today, such as mountain ranges, volcanoes, earthquakes, and even islands. Now, most of these occur near these tectonic plates. Now,
yes, and what comes out of it when they come apart? Not water. For sure, not water, friend.
We always catch him on the best phase.
I mean, it's. What are you talking about?
Now, science, first off, is observation. Now, what do we observe?
Oh, here we go.
We see worldwide flood stories. Dr. Dwayne Gish says that there's over...
He's quoting Gish.
Stories.
Fuck.
There's a lot of flood stories, but none of them are compatible. You fucking retard.
Wow.
Oh. Wow.
Let's see what Gish says.
Right. This is a real person.
Let's see what Dr. Gish says.
There were 270 such stories showing people carried this knowledge with them wherever they went. Now, a few...
Except they were incredibly case-specific, and in one of the cases that even he uses as an example is about just the Nile River flooding, just over flooding the valley. It doesn't say the whole world was flooded. Not every group says the whole world was flooded. Every group has experienced flooding. We see it today. People
So
still
therefore,
experience flooding.
So, I mean, the people who wrote that story, to them, the whole world probably did flood in their minds. The area that they're describing, that was their whole world.
Or
There
even
were no
more
weird reading
importantly,
outside of that.
people speak in, exaggerated tones. This is how fishing stories get written down as truth.
The ultimate big fish story.
Could be, understood as maybe copying each other. But when you have this many, with many very similar stories, it lends credence that there was an actual flood, but the Bible's Bible's one is in context.
270 stories. Yours is almost one of the fucking last, and you're right. Okay, friend. All right, bud.
I love that. Like, well, first off, we've established we all understand because there's a flood because every culture had a flood story. But my flood story is real because Jesus, because why? Because it's yours.
Yeah, because it's right.
the story your parents
Because it's
taught
clearly
you.
right, obviously.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
Secondly, we see worldwide fault lines. These fault lines are across the whole world. These are scars in the Earth's crust where the ground broke open, released.
He doesn't even seem like he believes this himself. Like, did he have this script written for him by a madman and just say, "Fuck it, I'm fine"?
No way, dude. This guy. Well, I see him arguing on Twitter all the time. He's also written many creationist books that he tries to.
Are they not on a bestseller list somewhere? Or?
Clearly, every time I walk into Barnes and Nobles, it's like, oh, here's Joe Cienkowski's latest big seller. Joe is such a madman. He really
These
is.
water chambers. Now, if you look at a map of fault lines across
Yes,
the globe,
the water chambers.
it looks like a cracked egg when you look at the Earth. Thirdly, we see
A cracked egg.
That was just his point. He just stopped. He just stopped there with that sentence. That was just his point.
I don't even understand. He was saying that, and we kind of brushed over it, but the fault lines to him are where the water broke through, and so the Earth looks like a cracked egg, and then that's it.
That's it. That's the end. And
Okay.
thus there are water chambers. The Earth looks like a cracked egg. Full stop. Moving right along.
That's fine. We all accept that. Earth, cracked egg, pretty much synonymous.
worldwide
Oh my
catastrophic damage everywhere. We see massive fossil graves. Now, wouldn't we expect to find billions of dead plants and animals buried and fossilized in sand, mud, and lime that were deposited rapidly in these rock layers? Of course. That's exactly what we find. We find extensive graveyards and exquisitely preserved.
Not that concentrated though.
Oh, this is where the
world.
Yeah, but this is where the creationists insist on bringing dinosaurs into it, and why they have to say dinosaurs existed alongside man.
Ugh.
This is what's happening because he has to admit thus that fossils are somewhat real. So then we have to be able to pull out the fossils.
Yeah, I mean, if there was a worldwide flood, that pretty much killed everything on the planet instantly, like that would be a huge mass grave. You would be looking at all these layers of fossils, and suddenly there would be one like about 4,000 years ago that was just like filled with fossils, like to a greater degree than anything before.
Correct. We wouldn't have to be desperately digging around hoping to find the one or two instances when these kind of things happen. No.
These things are spread through layers that are separated by like millions of years.
Mm-hmm.
We don't see some just like, oh, here's the treasure chest of fossils.
Would be nice. It would be helpful.
Yeah.
All right, let's see if we make
fossils. We see the Grand Canyon, which shows no slow and gradual erosion. So it wasn't formed by a trickling Colorado River over millions of years. The Grand Canyon is a giant spill.
Yeah, that's as fast as I could get rid of him, sorry.
You're all good, Hagbard. I
Holy
understand.
shit. The Grand Canyon shows no evidence of slow erosion.
They always like to bring up the Grand Canyon too,
What
even
a-
though it completely refutes them.
What an insane idea.
Oh God. We'll go to the other end. Let's see what's the difference between communism. Our old Marxist friend.
Oh yeah, I believe they mentioned him in the chat.
Yeah, a couple times. And there's another video
Comrades,
I sent
there's a
you
lot of
where he
confusion
talks
about
about being a
communism and
feminist.
anarchism.
We'll probably do another time.
Oh no, I forgot he was Canadian. This ought to be good.
Oh, those damn Canucks.
He says a
Oh my
boot.
God. This guy is just ugh.
Learn shortcuts. Fucking nerd.
He has
Go make
the
a
most
game.
unfortunate facial hair and actual hair. Just not a good combo.
Yeah.
Comrades, there's a lot of confusion about what communism and anarchism actually are. Many believe communism to be what the Soviet Union practiced. But
Oh, this argument. Hell, I watched someone flail doing this argument fucking 2 weeks ago. This isn't a new argument. You know, we've actually had to explain this, like, in fucking detail to people, right? Like, I can explain to you why communism inevitably ends up being applied in the manner that we see in the Soviet Union, China, etc., etc.
I mean, on paper, and the thing that they can't distinguish is there's a difference between on paper and real world application.
Well,
these people
because
who
these
are
guys
advocating
actually
for-
haven't considered the real world application.
Sure, these people who argue for like smaller government, reduced government, or even like no government on this far end of the spectrum, really don't have any fucking clue what they're talking about. If you get rid of the government entirely, someone is going to rise up. Someone is going to take control. They will, and that will inevitably be a government in some way, by some definition.
nothing could be further from the truth. Some might argue the end goal of the Soviet Union was communism, but even that is debatable. Anarchism
You're just gonna slip right on through that, huh? It was. They even acknowledged that they were in a transition phase, and once you make someone acknowledge that, which is something you're desperately, desperately trying not to have to acknowledge, is that people aren't just going to agree. You're talking about an attempt at social engineering that can't be done without force. It simply can't be. You will have to apply force. You will have to reopen the gulags to make this transition. You've then got to convince those people to give up their power. That's even harder, friend.
Yeah, and it's just, and that's part of that real world application that just doesn't work. These, and not, but then people try to argue like, oh, no, then don't use force at all. What's force even? And it seems like anything gets put in the camp of force now.
Yeah,
if you do
but
anything.
I mean, we're talking about the gulags. I mean, you have to somehow. How do you make someone that wants to operate in a capitalistic manner under communism not do so? How do you stop him? You have to apply force. If someone has something and they don't want to share, you have to apply force.
Yeah, and we saw where that went. Did not end well.
is probably one of the least
Friend.
understood political philosophies in existence.
No.
Many simply associate it with anti-state violence. And while the people who take part in those actions are anarchists, they have a greater political vision. The end goals of
Okay. Anarchists have a greater political vision other than anarchy.
We need to see the end of state violence. That fucking state.
We'll just have people violence instead.
Let's just have individual on individual violence without a state to intervene. Fucking morons.
Ugh. I love his.
Every
do you
man
see
for
the-
themselves.
Do you note the book in the background? Little sunglasses
Yeah.
on it. All art is propaganda.
Oh God, maybe he inspired White Rabbit.
communists and anarchists are very similar. They desire stateless societies with socialist economic systems, meaning the workers democratically control the means of production and the distribution of the surplus of their labor.
Yeah, have you ever attempted to do that?
Have you ever met another person?
Do you have
I don't
any
think they
idea
have the
what an
skills to
utter
do that.
shit show that is? Because I've done this. I've actually run groups that was the goal. I've been to Occupy groups. I know how this isn't. That's why I know. Because I thought this way at some point. This doesn't work. People are retarded. The vast, vast, vast majority of the population cannot behave. It just can't. It's not going to happen.
It's like those shows where they put a bunch of people on an island and they're like, okay, you need to survive.
You
need
would
to make a
think idiots
society."
like this. The problem is he's always fancied himself an intellectual, so he's never seen those shows. He's
yeah,
never
the Beneath
actually
them, I
seen
forgot.
them because he was like, no, I'm entirely too cool for those shows. When in reality, he probably could have learned a lot about human nature from them if you actually just watched them from an anthropological, point of view. You can learn quite a bit about how human beings behave. And even if it's at their extreme, you're still understanding that these people are fucking retarded.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, Hagbard. We're clearly statist authoritarians now. How dare
Yeah.
we want to govern people?
Yeah, that happens.
Anarchists emphasize the opposition to hierarchical organizations, while communists focus on the absence of money and social class. The real divergence of communists and anarchists is over how to achieve the stateless society. Anarchists believe we should go directly from capitalism to the stateless society.
How? It's a great idea. Sure, let me just agree with you because it's a great technique. Explain to me how your magic fairy dreamland comes true.
And explain to me, like they're always talking about force. Explain to me how this can be achieved without force. I guess if it's not state force, it's fine. Question mark.
I don't understand.
If it's force and violence coming from the people, it's a-okay to this guy.
Immediately establishing worker control over the means of production, though the exact form that would take depends on the type of anarchism one follows. Communists, on the other hand, believe there needs to be a transitional phase between capitalism and communism.
That's what you were talking about. That's exactly what Stalin was doing. It is the transition phase.
I think it's more apples to oranges. There are similarities, and I would say overall that, and it's not even really much of a compliment, but I would say that the communists have a better plan than the anarchists. It's still a shit plan, but at least it's not going directly the way the anarchists are. But it just doesn't work. These transitional phases.
Well, and these guys are delusional.
It's what you said. They're not going to give up their power.
I will take an anarcho-capitalist over an anarcho-communist. At least an anarcho-capitalist is being intellectually honest.
Sure.
You're saying that if there is no system of control or force in power, people will just all behave, and it will become just a natural sharing state. There won't be a need for a government to ensure this happens, because otherwise you'd have to admit that you need a totalitarian government. You're talking about somehow changing human fucking nature. How?
Yeah, there's so many groups who seem to have this utopia vision, and I think it is complete projection.
I'm telling
It's
you,
like,
number
I
one
want this to
question.
be-
How many people have to die?
We've already too many.
Some call these the lower and higher forms of communism, while others call it socialism.
Okay, now that's downright spiritual. Low communism versus high communism. That is downright fucking spiritual right there.
The high learned communism.
And communism. I should note, when saying socialism and communism in this context, we're talking about a socialist political system on top of the socialist economic system we've already discussed.
Okay. How would one
like-
devise that? Isn't that just basically democracy?
It just doesn't. It's just not going to work. Like I think a lot of us are on board, somewhat leaning towards the socialist, not the economics, but the other aspect. But you need a system that can protect that. If you go full communist with your system on every level, it's just not sustainable.
Yeah, let's see if
The transitional phase would see the state reorganize the economy into a socialist system where the workers control the
Oh, I wish I had had it prepped. I could start playing the communist national anthem right now. Oh, it would have been so perfect. Just start rolling it and just let him talk for a second, because it's really sad. You just have to give the control to the state, and they will redistribute, and they will control all that. What, dude? Do you not hear? You're literally talking about communist Russia. You don't hear the communist Russia in your voice, friend. You clearly don't know what you're talking about.
means of production.
I mean, what the fuck?
It's crazy. Like, and I'm even baffled by this, and I'm really, I like big government, or I like a lot of what they do. I'm not as critical as other people, but at the same time, the way our government is organized, there is a very strict system of checks and balances so that we don't become communist Russia.
Jesus, that was bad, dude.
Oh, he's such a
slowly
moron.
phase itself out until the higher form of communism, the
Higher
stateless
form.
society, is achieved.
Hey, you want to watch Degrassi?
Like Neil deGrasse Tyson.
That's all I think of. Every time I hear a Canadian accent, I just snap back to Degrassi.
A boot. Oh, he's got bad teeth too.
Yeah, classic.
Many communists call this the withering away of the state. The lower stage of communism would still
That
have
worked out
social
well.
classes, though without as big of distinctions as under capitalism. Money would still be present, and workers would be rewarded based on their labor.
This is crazy too. So his plan is, okay, wither away the state. So basically, eventually we want the state out of here. But to do that, to make the social changes, we are going to empower the state to crazy levels.
Yeah.
And then it will just disband.
And then they'll stop. I promise.
It will disband
Because they
people are
will be
good.
philosophically
Fuck you.
pure. Don't you understand? They'll be
What
philosophically pure
madness.
parts of the Communist Party. As long as you are philosophically pure, you can rise to the top. But only by, not desiring any of these filthy bourgeoisie possessions. It's
Oh, God. He's a nutter.
When the shift to the higher phase occurs, money and social classes would disappear, which means the system of remuneration would have to change. There's an easy way to explain this. The lower phase of communism is based on the principle from each according to his ability, to
Okay,
each
yes.
according to his contribution.
We know the
While
quote.
the higher phase is based on the more well-known principle of from each according to his ability, to each according to his need.
Okay, and when the needs start outweighing, then what?
At what point are we supposed to memorize all this and chant it in unison?
More importantly, when do we say start opening up death camps because, certain classes of people aren't contributing enough to this society any longer, and we've realized that they're just a drain on the state? I mean, these are the kind of things that come up from this, just because government
If you don't
inevitably is
contribute, then
pragmatic.
going into camps.
I mean, inevitably this ends up as a pragmatic discussion in government. In any bureaucracy, this ends up as a pragmatic discussion. When you've empowered them to the point where they control people's lives, this is where it goes.
Start rounding up all those people on welfare, send them straight to the FEMA death camps. You're of no use to us anymore.
Both communists
To
and
the
anarchists
gulags with
desire
you.
a
To the gulag.
stateless society where workers democratically control the means of production. However, anarchists believe the state needs to be abolished immediately, while communists believe there needs to be a transitional phase where the state reorganizes.
Did he just recut his own video? I want to go back and see if this is a recut or
It
just
feels
him
like-
re-saying it in the same exact manner. Holy
So
shit.
basically, so here's the big question then. When it comes to the debate, abolishing the state is the lunacy. But which method do you think is nuttier? Going straight, just thinking I'm going to go straight to no state, or thinking that you're going to have a transitional period where you make the state super powerful?
Yeah, I mean, again, at least the anarcho-capitalists are being intellectually honest. If you say that you're an anarcho-capitalist, you say tear down the state and then let money do what money does. Let people do what people do and let human nature take over. I say I have absolutely no interest in going back to feudalism. Thank you. That's usually the way I respond to that. And when you talk to someone like him who seems to inherently believe that communism is anarchical in nature, which is just fucking wow. There's a wow factor there that I wasn't expecting. He just thinks that it's the human condition that this government will wither away.
Just give it some time.
Yeah,
Just
it's
give
all
it
gonna be
some
fine. All right, we may as well give him his last 30 and then wrap.
Sure.
The economy and allows social relations to adjust before the state withers away. Comrades, I hope this has helped you better understand the distinctions between communism and
Oh,
anarchism.
yes, comrade. You helped us very much.
Make sure to like this video, share it with your friends.
All right, you apparently don't get your last.
He's just gonna shill.
You are a dirty, dirty shill. Goodbye.
And if you look at his like to dislike ratio, I don't think many people take that advice. Oh God. Well, that was fun. Thanks, Hagbard.
Yeah, this was a really short, just kind of shit talky one because we just wanted to squeeze it in.
Sure. We may attempt something tomorrow, and maybe we'll even get a guest. Who knows?
Yeah,
Who knows
depending
how
on
this
who
works.
answers.
I send people messages, and for some reason they want to be on this show. I don't understand. Don't you have a family? Don't you have something to do?
Yeah, seriously. Well, I do. I've got to go cook dinner.
Absolutely. But thank you, everyone, for joining us. If you enjoy the podcast, please subscribe and all that. Let us know what you think. You motherfuckers are awesome. And we'll see you next time.
Thanks for being here, guys. Have a good one.
Peace.